Tech billionaire abandoned his pregnant girlfriend. 17 years later, his daughter took the stage. Nina Marshall's phone wouldn't stop buzzing. 43 notifications in the past hour, all congratulating her on something she didn't understand. Your daughter made Forbes. Maya's going viral. Did you see the teen innovators list? She clicked the link with shaking hands. There was Maya, her brilliant, beautiful 17-year-old, smiling from Forbes magazine's website. 17-year-old's AI app brings hope to 10,000 underserved students. Nina's heart swelled with pride. Then she read the next paragraph. Marshall will present her innovation at next month's Sterling Tech Innovation Summit in Atlanta, where industry leaders including Sterling Innovations CEO Dominic Sterling will evaluate emerging technologies. The phone slipped from Nina's fingers. After 17 years of silence, fate was forcing them into the same room, with the daughter he never knew existed standing between them. Hello, my beautiful family. Welcome back. If this is your first time watching one of our videos, we'd love for you to hit that subscribe button. Your support means the world to us, and it helps us bring you even more powerful stories. Stick with us till the very end. And if this story moves you, drop your thoughts in the comments and share it with a friend. Now let's go back to where it started, 8 hours before everything changed. Nina Marshall stood in the break room of Atlanta Memorial Hospital, her nursing scrubs still damp from a patient emergency, staring at her daughter's face on her phone screen. Maya looked so confident in the photo. Professional headshot. Natural hair styled in elegant locks. Eyes that held intelligence beyond her 17 years. Eyes that looked exactly like her father's. You okay, Nina? Charisse, her supervisor, appeared with concern. You look like you've seen a ghost. My daughter, Nina managed. She made the Forbes Teen Innovators list. That's amazing. Girl, why do you look terrified instead of proud? Because the article mentioned the Sterling Tech Innovation Summit. Because Dominic Sterling would be there. Because in 4 weeks, 17 years of carefully maintained secrets would collide in the most public way possible. I'm proud, Nina said, forcing a smile. Just overwhelmed. After her shift ended at 3 a.m., Nina drove to the small house in Decatur she'd been renting for 3 years. The longest they'd stayed anywhere since Maya was born. She needed stability. Needed roots. Needed to stop running from shadows. But now the shadow was coming to her. Inside, she found Maya still awake, laptop open, surrounded by code printouts and energy drink cans. Mom! Maya looked up with excitement that made her look 12 instead of 17. Did you see? Forbes. They want to interview me next week about EduAI. EduVi, the AI tutoring app Maya had built in her bedroom. Started as a high school project, it had exploded when she'd partnered with 3 underfunded schools in South Atlanta. Now it was helping 10,000 students across Georgia access personalized learning they couldn't otherwise afford. I saw, baby. I'm so proud of you. And the summit. Maya was practically vibrating. Mom, do you know what this means? Sterling Innovations is the company in AI development. If Dominic Sterling sees what EduAI can do, if he agrees to invest or partner, we could scale to every underserved school in the South. Every mention of his name felt like a blade. About the summit, Nina started carefully. About Dominic Sterling. I know. He's a big deal. Forbes calls him the AI visionary who's making technology accessible. He built his company from almost nothing after his grandfather's original tech firm nearly collapsed. Maya's eyes shone with admiration. He's who I want to be when I grow up. Nina's chest tightened. Maya idolized the man who'd abandoned them both. I knew him, Nina said quietly. A long time ago. Before you were born. Maya's fingers stopped mid-type. You knew Dominic Sterling? We went to Georgia Tech together. We were close. How close? Nina looked at her daughter. This brilliant young woman who deserved the truth, but had built her entire identity on a carefully constructed lie. Very close. For about a year, we dated. I thought. She paused. I thought we were going to build a life together. What happened? His family didn't approve. I was from rural South Carolina. First-generation college student. Working 3 jobs. He was Dominic Sterling, son of Marcus Sterling, grandson of James Sterling who pioneered black entrepreneurship in tech. Nina's voice went flat. His father made it very clear that I wasn't suitable for their family's legacy. So he just left you? His senior year. 3 weeks before graduation. I woke up one morning and he was gone. Dorm room cleared out. Phone disconnected. Like he'd never existed. Maya's face went through several emotions: shock, anger, hurt. Mom, I'm so sorry. That's horrible. It was a long time ago. But if you see him at the summit, it might be awkward, Nina admitted. But this is your moment, baby. Your achievement. I won't let ancient history interfere with your future. But even as she said it, Nina knew there was nothing ancient about the way her heart had started racing the moment she'd seen his name. And there was one detail she still couldn't bring herself to share: the timing. Maya had been born exactly 38 weeks after Dominic disappeared. Born April 7th, conceived in the July before he left. If Dominic Sterling had even basic math skills, he'd figure it out the moment he saw Maya. Dominic Sterling stood in his corner office on the 40th floor of Sterling Tower in Midtown Atlanta, staring at the Forbes Teen Innovators article on his tablet. The girl's face stared back at him. Maya Marshall, age 17, creator of EduAI. But it wasn't her achievement that had made him freeze mid-conference call 20 minutes ago, forcing him to reschedule with his investors. It was her face, the bone structure, the set of her eyes, the way she smiled, confident but with a hint of vulnerability. She looked like his mother, like his sister, like every Sterling family photo going back 3 generations. She looked like him. Sir? His assistant, Keisha Okonkwo, appeared in the doorway. Your 2 p.m. with the board is in 10 minutes. Cancel it. Sir, they've been scheduled for 3 weeks. Cancel it. And get me everything you can find on Maya Marshall. School records, family background, business registration for EduAI. Everything. Keisha's eyebrows rose slightly, but she knew better than to question him when he used that tone. How comprehensive. Extremely. And Keisha, keep it confidential. After she left, Dominic enlarged the photo, studying every detail. The article mentioned Maya was homeschooled through middle school, now attending a charter school in Decatur. Raised by her single mother, Nina Marshall. Nina. The name hit like a physical blow. He pulled up the full article, scrolling until he found a photo of mother and daughter together at some school event. And there she was. Nina. At 37, she was even more beautiful than he remembered. The years had added depth to her features, strength to her bearing. But those eyes, intelligent, compassionate, unmistakably hers, they were exactly the same. His hands shook as he read Maya's birthday listed in her bio. April 7th, 17 years ago. Dominic did the math once. Twice. 3 times. April 7th meant conception in early July. He'd left Nina in late July, 3 weeks before graduation. The timeline fit perfectly. His office door opened without knocking, the only person who had that privilege. His father, Marcus Sterling, walked in with the cane he'd needed since his stroke 5 years ago. At 68, he was still formidable. Still commanded every room he entered. Dominic, we need to discuss the Chinese expansion. Not now, Dad. It can't wait. The Beijing office. Marcus stopped, seeing his son's face. What's wrong? Dominic turned the tablet around, showing Maya's photo. Marcus Sterling's face went carefully blank. Who is this? You tell me. Does she look familiar? Should she? Her name is Maya Marshall. She's 17. She was born April 7th, 17 years ago. Dominic's voice was deadly quiet. Her mother is Nina Marshall, formerly Nina Marshall from Anderson, South Carolina. Remember her, Dad? The girl you paid to disappear from my life. Marcus's silence was confirmation enough. You knew, Dominic said. All these years. You knew I had a daughter. I knew that girl claimed to be pregnant, Marcus said carefully. I knew she was looking for a payday. She never asked for money. She never contacted me. She's been raising our daughter alone for 17 years while his voice broke. While I built an empire and had no idea I had a child. You had obligations. The company was failing. Your mother needed you. We couldn't have you tied to some girl who... Don't. Dominic's voice was steel. Don't you dare finish that sentence. Marcus shifted his weight, leaning heavily on his cane. I did what I thought was right to protect you. To protect our family's legacy. You destroyed my family. The real one. The one I should have been building with Nina. Dominic stood, moving to the window. She's speaking at the summit next month. Maya. My daughter. She built an AI education platform that's helping thousands of kids. You're going to acknowledge her? I'm going to meet her. I'm going to explain. I'm going to beg for forgiveness I don't deserve. Dominic turned to face his father. And you're going to stay out of it. Dominic, be reasonable. Victoria. Victoria and I are done. The engagement was never real anyway. Just another merger you orchestrated. You're throwing away everything for a girl you haven't seen in 17 years and a child who may not even be yours. She's mine, Dominic said with absolute certainty. One look at her photo and I know she's mine. And I've already thrown away everything that mattered. I'm not making that mistake again. After Marcus left, Dominic stared at Maya's photo for another hour. In 4 weeks, he would see Nina again. Meet the daughter he'd never known existed. Discover whether 17 years of absence could ever be forgiven. The countdown had begun. For weeks had never felt so long or so short simultaneously. Nina stood in her bedroom at 6 a.m., staring at the modest dress she'd bought from a consignment shop. Navy blue. Professional. Something that wouldn't embarrass Maya in a room full of tech billionaires. At 37, working as a nurse and freelance grant writer, she'd built a stable life. Not comfortable, medical debt from her mother's cancer treatment still loomed large, but stable. They had a roof over their heads. Maya had opportunities. But tomorrow, all of that carefully constructed stability would be tested. Mom, Maya called from her room. Can you look at my presentation one more time? Nina found her daughter surrounded by laptops, tablets, and hand-drawn diagrams explaining how EduAI's algorithm adapted to different learning styles. Run through your opening, Nina said, settling on the edge of Maya's bed. Maya stood, took a breath, and transformed. Gone was the 17-year-old who left dishes in the sink and forgot to take out the trash. In her place stood a confident innovator. Good afternoon. My name is Maya Marshall, and I'm here to talk about why 10,000 students in underserved communities are finally getting the education they deserve. Not because of more funding, not because of policy changes, but because of artificial intelligence that meets them where they are. Pride and terror warred in Nina's chest. That's perfect, baby. You think? Maya's confidence wavered. What if they don't take me seriously because of my age? What if Dominic Sterling thinks I'm just some kid with a hobby project? Then he's a fool who doesn't deserve to invest in your genius. Maya smiled, but her eyes held worry. Are you going to be okay tomorrow? Seeing him again after all this time? I'll be fine. This is your day, not mine. But that night, lying awake at 2 a.m., Nina couldn't stop her mind from racing. What would she say to Dominic when she saw him? How would she explain 17 years of silence? And most terrifying, what would happen when he looked at Maya and did the math? Meanwhile, across town in his Buckhead penthouse, Dominic sat in his home office surrounded by printouts of everything Keisha had found on Maya Marshall. Academic records, straight A's. Homeschooled until 8th grade, then charter school. Accepted to MIT, Stanford, and Georgia Tech for early admission, but deferred to scale EduAI first. Business records. EduAI incorporated 2 years ago when Maya was 15. Revenue. $47,000 in year 1, $183,000 in year 2. All reinvested into expanding to more schools. Personal information. Raised by single mother Nina Marshall RN. Father unknown. Not listed on birth certificate. They'd moved 7 times in Maya's first 10 years before settling in Decatur. 7 moves. Nina had been running, keeping their daughter hidden, and he couldn't blame her. Not after the way his family had threatened her 17 years ago. His phone buzzed. Victoria Chen. Lunch tomorrow before the summit? Need to discuss our appearance strategy. Dominic stared at the message. Victoria, beautiful, accomplished, utterly wrong for him. Their engagement had been announced 6 months ago, orchestrated by their families as a strategic alliance. Her father's venture capital firm had invested heavily in Sterling Innovations. Their marriage would solidify the partnership. He'd been going through the motions, telling himself this was what successful men did. Married for strategy. Built empires. Forgot about the loves they'd abandoned. He typed back, "We need to talk. In person. Before the summit." Within seconds, that sounds ominous. 2 p.m. at Aria? See you there. The next afternoon, Dominic arrived at the upscale Buckhead restaurant to find Victoria already seated, perfectly composed in designer everything. "Darling," she said as he sat, "you sounded serious on the phone. Is something wrong with the Chinese expansion?" "It's not about business. It's about us." Victoria's carefully maintained smile flickered. "What about us?" "I can't marry you." Silence. Then, "I see. May I ask why?" "Because 17 years ago, I was in love with someone. Really in love. And my family forced me to leave her. I've spent nearly 2 decades trying to convince myself I made the right choice. Building the company. Becoming who my father wanted me to be. He met her eyes. I was wrong. About all of it. And you're realizing this now? 3 months before our wedding. I'm realizing this because tomorrow I'm going to meet my 17-year-old daughter for the first time. The daughter I never knew existed because I was too cowardly to fight for the woman I loved. Victoria's composure cracked completely. You have a daughter? Her name is Maya. She's speaking at the summit tomorrow. She built an AI education platform that's changing lives. She's brilliant and determined and everything I didn't know I was missing. His voice broke. And I've missed 17 years of her life. Does she know you're her father? No. Her mother never told her. Probably because I disappeared like a coward and gave her no reason to believe I'd ever be worth knowing. Victoria was quiet for a long moment. Then, surprisingly, she laughed, not unkindly. You know what's funny? I suspected you weren't really in love with me. I told myself it didn't matter. That we'd build something practical. Strategic. She took off her engagement ring, set it on the table between them. But you're right. We both deserve more than that. I'm sorry, Victoria. Don't be. Go get your family back. And Dominic? Don't be a coward twice. The Peachtree Grand Hotel had been transformed into a showcase of innovation. Holographic displays. Interactive demos. The brightest minds in Southern tech gathered to witness the next generation of breakthrough ideas. Nina and Maya arrived at 8 a.m. for the 10 a.m. presentations. Maya needed time to set up her demo, and Nina needed time to prepare herself for the inevitable. Ms. Marshall, a cheerful woman with a headset, approached. I'm Jasmine, event coordinator. Maya, you're in presentation slot 4, which means you'll go on around 11:30. The green room is this way. As they followed Jasmine through the hotel's opulent corridors, Nina felt increasingly out of place. Everyone around them wore confidence like a second skin. Tech founders, investors, entrepreneurs who belonged in spaces like this. She was a nurse from rural South Carolina who'd gotten pregnant at 20 and spent 17 years just trying to survive. Mom. Maya grabbed her hand. Stop it. Stop what? That thing you do when you think you don't belong somewhere. You belong here. You built a brilliant daughter who's about to blow everyone's mind. That's your achievement too. Nina squeezed her hand, grateful beyond words. The green room was already populated with the other presenters. Young innovators in their late teens and early 20s. Maya dove into conversations about code and algorithms with an ease that made Nina's heart swell. This was her daughter's world, and she deserved to shine in it. Excuse me. A smooth voice made Nina turn. A woman in her early 30s stood there, elegant in a way that probably required a team. Designer suit. Perfect makeup. The kind of polish that came with wealth. I'm Lauren Baptiste, VP of Innovation at Sterling Innovations. You must be Maya Marshall's mother? Nina. Yes. Your daughter's work is remarkable. Mr. Sterling is particularly interested in EduAI's approach to adaptive learning. Lauren's smile was professional but assessing. He's asked to meet with Maya after her presentation. One-on-one. Nina's stomach dropped. Is that standard? Only for projects that show exceptional promise. Lauren handed her a business card. I'll come find you both after she presents. Oh, and fair warning. The audience today includes not just Mr. Sterling but also his father, Marcus Sterling, and several board members. It's quite the lineup. After Lauren left, Maya appeared at Nina's elbow. What did she want? Dominic Sterling wants to meet with you after your presentation. Maya's eyes went wide. Seriously? Mom, that's huge. That could mean investment. Partnership. Everything we've been working toward. I know, baby. Then why do you look terrified? Because in less than 4 hours, Dominic Sterling would look at Maya and know. And their carefully constructed world would never be the same. At 11:30 a.m., Maya Marshall walked onto the stage of the Peachtree Grand Ballroom, and Dominic Sterling's world stopped. He'd seen her photo dozens of times over the past 4 weeks. Studied every angle. Memorized every feature. But nothing had prepared him for seeing her in person. She moved with his mother's grace. Had his sister's confident stride. The way she tilted her head when she smiled at the audience. That was pure Sterling. She was his daughter. Undeniably. Unmistakably. His. Good afternoon, Maya began, her voice carrying clearly through the state-of-the-art sound system. My name is Maya Marshall, and I'm here to talk about why 10,000 students in underserved communities are finally getting the education they deserve. Dominic gripped the arms of his seat in the front row, surrounded by his executive team. Beside him, his father sat rigid, face carefully neutral. I built EduAI because I saw my friends, brilliant kids with incredible potential, being left behind by a system that wasn't designed for them, Maya continued, advancing to a slide showing data visualizations. Traditional tutoring is expensive. One-on-one attention is a luxury most families can't afford. But artificial intelligence? That scales infinitely. The presentation was flawless. She explained complex algorithms in accessible language, showed real results, test scores improving, graduation rates climbing, students who'd been written off suddenly thriving. But Dominic could barely focus on her words. He was drowning in the magnitude of what he'd missed. 17 years of moments. First steps he'd never witnessed. First words he'd never heard. Every birthday, every milestone, every triumph and struggle, he'd missed all of it. The future of education isn't about replacing teachers, Maya said, her passion evident. It's about giving every student access to personalized learning, regardless of their zip code or their family's income. It's about recognizing that brilliance exists everywhere. We just need better tools to nurture it. The audience erupted in applause. Dominic stood with them, clapping until his hands hurt, tears threatening to spill. His father remained seated. As Maya left the stage, fielding questions from excited investors, Dominic turned to Marcus. "That's your granddaughter," he said quietly. "And you kept her from me for 17 years. I protected you. You destroyed my family. And now I'm going to spend the rest of my life trying to earn back what you stole." Dominic stood and walked toward the side entrance where speakers exited. Lauren was already there, as instructed. "Mr. Sterling wants to meet with you," Lauren was saying to Maya, who looked simultaneously excited and nervous. "If you'll follow me, can my mom come?" Maya asked. "Of course." And then Dominic saw her. Nina, standing just off stage, watching the interaction with a mother's protective vigilance. When their eyes met, 17 years collapsed into nothing. She was even more beautiful than he remembered. The years had added strength to her features, depth to her bearing. She'd become the woman he'd always known she would be. "Nina," he said, his voice breaking on her name. She straightened her spine. "Dominic." Maya looked between them, confusion dawning. "Wait, you two know each other?" "We went to college together," Nina said quickly. "A long time ago." "More than that," Dominic said, unable to stop the words. "We were in love. We were planning a future together. Until I made the worst decision of my life and walked away." Maya's eyes widened. "You're the one who left her?" "I'm the coward who abandoned the best thing that ever happened to me." Lauren cleared her throat. "Perhaps this conversation should happen somewhere more private?" They moved to a small conference room off the main ballroom. Maya, Nina, and Dominic. Lauren closed the door behind them, leaving them alone. The silence was deafening. "Your presentation was extraordinary," Dominic said finally, looking at Maya. "The algorithms, the implementation, the impact, it's everything I've been trying to achieve with Sterling Innovations, but on a human scale that actually matters." "Thank you," Maya said, still looking confused. "But I don't understand." "You and my mom. We dated for a year at Georgia Tech," Dominic said. "I was planning to propose after graduation. And then my father had a stroke, and my family convinced me that I had obligations I couldn't ignore. That love was a luxury I couldn't afford. So you just left," Maya said. "Not a question. An accusation. I left. No explanation. No goodbye. I disappeared like the coward I was at 22. He looked at Nina. "I've regretted it every day for 17 years. Nina's face was carefully neutral. "Why are you telling her this now?" "Because," Dominic took a breath. "Maya, when were you born?" "April 7th. "Why? What year?" Maya named the year. Dominic did the math out loud. "April 7th means you were conceived in early July. I left your mother in late July, 3 weeks before graduation." He looked directly at Maya. "You're 17 years old. The timeline fits perfectly." The conference room went completely silent. Maya's face went through several emotions: confusion, calculation, shock, and finally devastation as the implication hit her. "No," she whispered. "Maya." Nina reached for her. "No. No, this isn't." Maya looked at Dominic with something like horror. "You're saying you're my father?" "I believe so." "Yes. You believe?" "You believe." Maya's voice rose. "You abandoned my mother pregnant and alone, disappear for 17 years, and now you believe you're my father?" "I didn't know," Dominic said desperately. "I swear to you, I had no idea you existed until I saw your photo in Forbes 4 weeks ago." Maya turned to Nina. Did you know? Did you know he was my father? Nina's silence was answer enough. You knew. Maya's voice cracked. All these years you knew and you never told me? Baby, I was trying to protect you. From what? From having a father? From knowing where I came from. Tears streamed down Maya's face. I spent my whole life wondering why I wasn't worth staying for. And you let me believe that. You let me think I was just unwanted. You were always wanted, Nina said fiercely. I wanted you. Every single day. You are the best thing that ever happened to me. But he didn't want me, Maya said, looking at Dominic. You left before you even knew I existed. And you know what? I'm glad. Because I don't need a father who runs away when things get complicated. Maya, please. No. I came here to present my work. To earn recognition based on my merit, my achievements. And now everyone's going to think I got this opportunity because of who my father is. Her voice was cold. You've been in my life for 10 minutes and you've already ruined everything. She walked out, slamming the door behind her. Nina and Dominic stood in the wreckage of the revelation. You had no right, Nina said quietly. No right to tell her like that. No right to destroy everything we built. I'm sorry. Sorry doesn't fix this. Sorry doesn't give her back the childhood you missed. Sorry doesn't undo 17 years of her wondering why she wasn't enough. I didn't know she existed. Because you ran. Nina's composure finally cracked. You ran, Dominic. Your family threatened you, and instead of fighting, instead of staying, instead of even checking to see if I was okay, you disappeared. So don't you dare act like you're the victim here. I'm not. I know I'm not. But Nina, my father, he threatened to destroy you. Your scholarships, your family, everything. I thought I was protecting you by leaving. You were protecting yourself, Nina said bitterly. From having to make a hard choice. From having to stand up to your family. From having to grow up. The words hit like physical blows because they were true. You're right, Dominic said. About all of it. I was a coward. I took the easy path. And I've spent 17 years building an empire that means nothing because I lost the only things that actually mattered. Well, now you've lost them twice, Nina said, moving toward the door. Because my daughter, our daughter, is never going to forgive either of us for this. She left him standing alone in the conference room, surrounded by the wreckage of his desperate attempt to claim a family he'd never earned the right to be part of. Outside, the summit continued. People networking, deals being made, futures being built. But Dominic's future had just walked out the door, and he had no idea how to win it back. 3 weeks after the summit, Nina sat in her car outside the hospital, staring at the final notice from their landlord. Eviction proceedings would begin in 7 days if rent wasn't paid. The media attention had been ruthless. Teen tech prodigy revealed as Billionaire's secret daughter. Nina Marshall, the woman who kept Dominic Sterling's child hidden for 17 years. Did Maya Marshall earn her Forbes recognition? Or was it nepotism? Reporters had tracked down their address. Called Nina's supervisor at the hospital. Approached Maya's teachers. Their quiet life had been shredded and fed to the internet for entertainment. And the professional consequences had been swift. The hospital had placed Nina on administrative leave, pending review of whether the media attention posed a disruption to patient care. Translation: fired without saying fired. Her freelance grant-writing clients had quietly stopped renewing contracts. Nobody wanted the controversy. In 3 weeks, Nina had lost everything she'd built over 17 years of careful work. When she finally made it home, she found Maya at the kitchen table, laptop closed, staring at nothing. How bad? Nina asked, though she already knew. 3 schools pulled their contracts with EDUI, Maya said, her voice flat. Said they're concerned about perception issues and maintaining independence from corporate influence. Even though Dominic has nothing to do with my company. Even though I built it before I ever knew he existed. Maya's eyes were red-rimmed. She'd been crying but had stopped, replaced by something harder. Angrier. 2 universities rescinded their scholarship offers. MIT and Stanford both sent very polite emails about reconsidering fit and ensuring merit-based admissions integrity. She laughed bitterly. Georgia Tech, where you and Dominic met, they're the only one that hasn't pulled their offer. Probably because it would look too suspicious. Nina sank into the chair across from her daughter. Baby, I'm so sorry. Stop apologizing. Maya's voice was sharp. Just stop. This isn't your fault. It's his. But the look in Maya's eyes said she blamed them both. Nina's phone buzzed. Another unknown number. She'd stopped answering days ago when a particularly aggressive journalist had pretended to be calling about a job opportunity. "It's been 3 weeks," Maya said quietly. "He sent flowers every day. Called 47 times. Left voicemails I haven't listened to. Had his assistant try to schedule meetings." She looked at her mother. "What does he want?" "To make it right." "You can't make this right. You can't unruin my reputation. You can't give me back the life I had before everyone started wondering if I'm just some spoiled billionaire's daughter playing at business." "You're not." "I know I'm not." Maya's voice cracked. "But now I have to prove it. Every single day. Every achievement questioned. Every opportunity scrutinized. And for what? For a father who didn't want me until it was convenient." The doorbell rang. They both froze. "If that's another reporter," Maya started. But when Nina opened the door, she found Dominic Sterling standing there in jeans and a simple shirt, looking like he hadn't slept in days. "I know I'm the last person you want to see," he said before Nina could close the door. "But Maya, please. 5 minutes. That's all I'm asking." Maya appeared behind Nina. 5 minutes to say what? That you're sorry? That you didn't mean to destroy my life? That you want to make it right with money? 5 minutes to tell you the truth about what happened 17 years ago. The whole truth. Dominic's voice was raw. "And then, if you never want to see me again, I'll respect that." Maya and Nina exchanged a look. Finally, Maya nodded. They moved to the small living room. Dominic sat on the worn couch, probably worth less than his watch. Nina and Maya sat across from him, united front. "When I met your mother," Dominic began, "I thought I knew everything. I was Dominic Sterling. Legacy admission to Georgia Tech, guaranteed position at my family's company. Life was a path laid out before me. And then she showed me I knew nothing. She was working 3 jobs, sending money home to South Carolina to help pay her grandmother's medical bills, maintaining a 4.0, tutoring other students for free because she believed everyone deserved a chance." He looked at Nina. "I fell in love with her because she made me want to be better. To use my privilege for something that actually mattered instead of just accumulating more wealth." "So why leave?" Maya asked coldly. "My father had a stroke 3 weeks before graduation. Massive. The doctors said he might not survive. And when he finally stabilized, he called me home." Dominic's hands clenched. "He told me the company was failing. That my grandfather's legacy, the first black-owned tech company in Atlanta, was about to collapse. That I had to step up. Take over. Save everything 3 generations had built. And he told me that being with your mother would destroy any chance of that. That the board wouldn't respect a CEO married to someone from her background. That investors would see it as weakness. That I had to choose between love and legacy." "So you chose legacy," Maya said. "I chose wrong." Dominic's voice broke. "I was 22 and terrified, and I convinced myself I was doing the noble thing. Sacrificing personal happiness for family responsibility. But the truth is, I was just a coward who took the easy path." "Did you know Mom was pregnant?" Maya asked. "No. I swear to you, I had no idea. I found out you existed 4 weeks before the summit when I saw your photo in Forbes." He pulled out his phone, showed them the article with notes and calculations in the margins. "I did the math 17 different ways, trying to convince myself I was wrong. But I wasn't." "Why didn't you reach out to Mom?" Maya asked. "Before the summit? Why ambush us like that?" "Because I was terrified. Terrified you'd refuse to see me. Terrified I'd lose my chance to tell you how sorry I was. So I made another cowardly choice. I claimed you publicly, thinking that would somehow force you to acknowledge me." He looked at them both. "Instead, I destroyed everything you'd built. Your reputation, your privacy, your peace. I took away the thing that mattered most to you, the belief that you earned your success through your own merit." Tears streamed down his face. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. And I know sorry isn't enough. I know I can't undo the damage. But I need you to know, none of this is your fault. You didn't ask to be my daughter. You didn't ask for any of this. And you absolutely, completely earned every achievement, every accolade, every opportunity through your own brilliance." The room was silent except for the sound of Dominic crying, raw, ugly, honest. Maya's face was unreadable. "What about your father? The one who convinced you to leave?" "We're not speaking. He knew about you. All these years, he knew I had a daughter and he kept it from me." "Did he threaten Mom?" Maya asked. "Back then." Dominic looked at Nina, who nodded slowly. "He told me if I didn't leave, he'd destroy your mother's scholarships, her family's financial stability, everything. He said loving her would ruin her life. Dominic's voice was bitter. And I believed him. Instead of fighting, instead of finding another way, I ran. Maya was quiet for a long time. When she finally spoke, her voice was tired. I need time. I need to process that my entire identity was built on incomplete information. I need to figure out who I am now that I know where I came from. Take all the time you need, Dominic said. But I also need you to fix what you broke, Maya continued, her voice hardening. The schools that dropped EDUI contracts, they did it because of association with you. The scholarships that were rescinded, same reason. You destroyed my reputation. Now you fix it. How? Public statement. Make it clear that you had no relationship with me or my company before the summit. That I built EDUI independently. That any future business relationship will be at arm's length. Maya leaned forward. And then you back off. No flowers. No calls. No grand gestures. You give me space. Okay. And Mom, Maya turned to Nina. You and I need to talk. Alone. About why you never told me. About all of it. After Dominic left, promising to have his PR team draft the statement within hours, Maya and Nina sat in their small living room. I'm angry with you, Maya said quietly. For not telling me. For letting me wonder my whole life why I wasn't worth staying for. I was trying to protect you. I know. And I understand why you did it. But Mom, I deserve the truth. You're right, Nina said. You did. And I'm sorry I didn't trust you with it. They sat in silence for a moment. What do we do now? Maya asked. We survive. Like we always do. Together. The morning sun streamed through the windows of the townhouse in Virginia Highland, a neighborhood Nina never thought she'd be able to afford. 3 bedrooms. A small yard. A kitchen where more than one person could stand comfortably. Dominic had offered to buy them a house outright. Nina had refused. Instead, she'd accepted a position as Director of Community Health Outreach at the Sterling Foundation, a job she'd earned through interviews with the hiring committee, not through family connections. The salary was enough to afford this place with dignity. Maya sat at the kitchen table, laptop open, reviewing analytics for EDUAI. After Dominic's public statement clarifying that he'd had no involvement with her company, 3 of the schools had quietly reinstated their contracts. 2 new districts had signed on. The app now served 15,000 students across Georgia and Alabama. Morning, Nina said, pouring coffee. Morning, Mom. Maya looked up. Dominic texted. He's asking if we're still on for lunch today. 6 months of careful boundary setting had led to this. Weekly lunches. Sometimes just Dominic and Maya. Sometimes all 3 of them. Baby steps towards something that might eventually resemble family. Do you want to go? Nina asked carefully. They'd learned not to assume. Yeah, I do. Maya smiled, tentatively but genuinely. He's been good about respecting boundaries. No pushing. No grand gestures. Just showing up consistently. That was what had made the difference. Not the public statement or the money or the connections. Just Dominic showing up. Week after week. Proving he could stay. What about you? Maya asked. Are you coming? I have a meeting at the foundation. But maybe dinner? All of us? The suggestion of family dinner was still new. Still fragile. But possible. At lunch, Dominic and Maya sat in a quiet cafe in Inman Park. 6 months ago, they'd needed Nina as a buffer. Now they could manage alone. How's school? Dominic asked. Good. Decided to defer college another year to focus on scaling EDUAI. Maya took a bite of her sandwich. Georgia Tech was understanding about it. That's smart. Strike while the momentum's there. They ate in comfortable silence for a moment, something that would have been impossible 6 months ago. Can I ask you something? Maya said finally. About your grandfather. James Sterling? Of course. Mom said he was one of the first black entrepreneurs in tech. That he built his company in the 60s when nobody thought black people belonged in that space. He did. Started with nothing but a vision and a willingness to outwork everyone. Dominic's voice carried pride. He faced things I can't imagine. Banks that wouldn't loan to him. Investors who wouldn't meet with him. Customers who didn't trust a black-owned company. How did he survive it? Community. He built relationships with other black entrepreneurs. Created his own network when the white networks shut him out. And he refused to let anyone make him feel like he didn't belong in spaces he'd earned the right to occupy. Maya nodded slowly. I think I understand why your dad was so obsessed with protecting the legacy. If Grandpa James fought that hard to build something, it doesn't excuse what he did, Dominic interrupted gently. Understanding the pressure doesn't mean accepting the choices. My father let fear make him cruel. Let legacy matter more than people. Do you ever talk to him? Occasionally. He had another stroke 6 months ago. Smaller this time, but it scared him. Dominic's voice softened. He asked about you. Wanted to know if you'd ever consider meeting him. Maya's expression was unreadable. What did you tell him? That it's not my decision. It's yours. And that he'd have to earn the right to know you, just like I'm trying to earn it. Is he sorry? For what he did to Mom? He says he is. Whether that's genuine remorse or fear of dying alone, I don't know. Dominic met her eyes. I'm not pushing you either way. He's my father and I love him. But he hurt people I love more, and I won't pretend that doesn't matter. Maya was quiet for a long moment. Maybe someday. Not now. But maybe. That's fair. They finished lunch and walked through the neighborhood. Dominic pointed out the house where he'd lived during grad school, the coffee shop where he'd written his first business plan. Can I ask you something now? Dominic said. Sure. Your middle name. Marshall is your mom's last name. But what's your middle name? James, Maya said quietly. Maya James Marshall. Dominic stopped walking. After my grandfather? Mom said she wanted me to have something from my father's side, even if I never knew who he was. She researched your family history and chose James because of what he represented, someone who built something meaningful despite impossible obstacles. Tears streamed down Dominic's face. She named you after him? She said every child deserves to know where they come from. Even if she couldn't tell me about you, she wanted me to carry part of your legacy. Dominic pulled Maya into a hug, the first real one they'd shared. She tensed for a moment, then relaxed into it. Thank you, he whispered, for giving me a chance. For not giving up on me even when you had every right to. I'm still figuring out how to do this, Maya admitted. How to have a father. How to trust that you won't disappear again. I know, and I'll keep proving it. Every single day. That evening, the three of them had dinner at Nina's new house. Dominic brought ingredients and cooked, something that surprised them both. You can cook? Maya asked, watching him handle a knife with professional efficiency. Taught myself after grad school. Turns out eating out for every meal is unsustainable. He smiled. Your mom used to cook for me in college. I wanted to return the favor. Only took me 17 years. Nina leaned against the counter, watching him move through her kitchen. You're better than I remember. I've had a lot of time to practice, and a lot of empty evenings to fill. They ate at the small dining table, jerk chicken, rice and peas, plantains. Dominic had remembered that Nina's grandmother was Jamaican, had learned her recipes. This is amazing, Maya said. Tastes like great-grandma Ruth's cooking. I called your great-uncle in South Carolina, Dominic admitted. Asked him for her recipes. He was very suspicious about why I wanted them until I explained. What did he say? Nina asked. That if I hurt you or Maya again, he'd drive up here and handle me himself. Then he gave me the recipes and made me promise to actually use them. They laughed, together, naturally like a family might. After dinner, Maya excused herself to take a call about a new school district interested in EDUAI. Nina and Dominic cleaned up together. She's doing well, Dominic said, loading the dishwasher. Better than I deserve. She's resilient. Like her mother. Nina. Dominic stopped, turned to face her. I need to say something. Not asking for anything. Just need to say it. Okay. I never stopped loving you. Not when I left. Not during the 17 years apart. Not when I thought I'd never see you again. His voice was raw. I built an empire and none of it mattered because you weren't there. I got engaged to someone else and it was hollow because she wasn't you. Nina's breath caught. I know I don't deserve a second chance, Dominic continued. I know I can't erase 17 years of hurt. But if there's even the smallest possibility that someday you might. Stop, Nina said softly. Don't finish that sentence. I'm sorry. I need time, Dominic. More time. To figure out if I can trust you with my heart again. To see if you can really stay when things get hard. I understand. But, Nina said, meeting his eyes, ask me again in 6 months. And maybe the answer will be different. Hope flickered across his face. Really? Really? From the living room, Maya called out. Are you two done having your moment? Because I just got off the phone with Birmingham City Schools, and they want to pilot EDUAI in 20 schools. They both laughed, the tension breaking. We're coming, Nina called back. As they walked to celebrate Maya's news, Dominic's hand brushed Nina's. She didn't pull away. It wasn't forgiveness. Not yet. But it was possibility. And sometimes possibility was enough. The Sterling Foundation's annual gala was nothing like the summit where everything had fallen apart. This was smaller, more intimate, focused on celebrating the young people whose lives had been changed by education initiatives. Maya stood on stage, no longer a teenager but a confident 18-year-old CEO, presenting EDUAI's expansion into 6 states. In the audience, Nina sat beside Dominic. His hand held hers openly now. No secrets, no shame, just 2 people who'd found their way back to each other slowly, carefully, honestly. "She's incredible," Dominic whispered. "She is," Nina agreed. "We made something pretty amazing." After Maya's presentation, after the applause and the networking and the celebration, the 3 of them stood on the hotel balcony watching Atlanta's skyline light up. "I have news," Maya said. "MIT called. They want me to defer admission 1 more year, but join their AI research lab remotely. Work with their team while scaling EDUAI." "That's incredible, baby," Nina said. "And," Maya continued, "I've been thinking about something else." She looked at Dominic. "About changing my name. Not getting rid of Marshall. That's who I am. But adding Sterling. Maya James Marshall Sterling." Dominic's eyes filled with tears. "Are you sure?" "I'm sure. You've earned it. The last year you showed up. You stayed. You proved that biology isn't what makes family, choice is." They stood together, 3 people who'd been broken apart and slowly, painfully, beautifully rebuilt into something stronger. "I love you both," Dominic said. "My family. We love you too," Nina said. And meant it. The constellation of their family, scattered for 17 years, was finally whole again. Not perfect. Still healing. Still learning. But whole. And that was enough.
Thank you for watching this story to the end. If you enjoyed this story, you will surely love the next one. It's as crazier and more intriguing as you can ever imagine. So do check it out. Click on the image showing on your screen right now to watch the next one.